Well, this week on Today's Arts, we're actually here in Campbellville, and we're going to art camp. Well, this week on Today's Arts, we're actually at art camp. We're nestled here in Campbellville, and we're going to go in and meet Alicia, speak to some of the children, and learn about this fabulous creative space.
Kelly.
Hi, Alicia.
Come on in. The
So
kids are here doing a great big project, and I'd love you to have a look at what we're doing.
Great. What a great space, Alicia.
Well, this is my studio, and each summer I make it available to students to come and do workshops with me, and they learn all kinds of really, I think, cool things. Everything from drawing, sculpture, painting, and high-end crafts.
And you've got theme weeks, and this is Oceanology Week. So tell us a little bit about this exciting project this week.
Oceanology, yep. This week, we're focusing on the incredible color, splendor, and sort of the oddness of what you find under the water. So currently, what the kids are working on right now is their watercolor painting, and this is a coral reef.
Okay.
And they've finished some wonderful sculptures that are partly made up, partly based on sea creatures. And one of the amazing features is these are glow-in-the-dark sculptures.
How fun? How fun is that?
It's really
Wonderful.
cool, and we'll have a chance to have a look at that in a few minutes. We draw every morning for about an hour, and that allows students to really understand the form, how to be comfortable with recognizing what they're trying to draw, and some of the fundamentals in drawing, something that gives them a real handle to further develop their drawing skills even after they leave the camp.
And discovering new animals, because there's a little bit of research involved too, and just exploring these creatures from under the water.
Everything we do here is based on both observing things visually, whether it's from books or images that I've collected throughout the years, or observing from real life. So, for example, we were studying shells the other day and drawing in different angles and coral, so they get a real appreciation of what nature is about.
Oh, and how wonderful is that to expose these children to the arts?
Well, through the process of having a space, having the time and the expertise and the materials that support that, it's an easy thing to create from that. Once you've got all those things, it's an easy formula.
And you know what? We're going to be speaking to some of the children in a moment, but we'll be back after this next message. Well, welcome back. We're at art camp, and Alicia, we're actually going to be speaking to some of the children and taking a look at some of these unbelievable underwater creations.
Well, let's go over and talk to some of the students at the table. They've been doing watercolor since this morning. We've been getting ready, and I'll introduce you to Austin.
Oh, great. Okay.
And he's a gentleman who's been here for a number of years. And Austin, we're going to have a look at your work and talk to you about what your experiences are at the camp. So what do you think so far this week? How have you found it?
I found it very cool because oceans are, so undiscovered still. There are so many animals inside there that, aren't yet understood.
And what is it you're putting on your watercolor painting?
Well,
what is it you're
I
gonna
am
focus
putting,
on?
I think this is called a trumpet fish, and then a lot of anemones and weird type of fish things that are alive, kind of plants that are alive.
And can you just briefly describe what we did this morning to get ready for our watercolor painting?
Well, for the watercolor painting, we had to put water on top of the paper. Then we had to paint the background, which is blue. Then also we did the coral reef. And right now we're just drawing out our animals, and then I'm getting ready to paint soon. So that should be good.
That's great. Well, Austin, you've done a great job, and I really like the detail you're putting in that, and we'll get back to you, see how much you put in there.
Thanks, Austin.
Now, Dawn is doing a similar thing, and she's got a little more work in hers. So, Dawn, tell us a little bit about your coral reef. What are the things that you've included on yours?
I've included lots of fish, a stingray butterfly, some jellyfish, coral, sand dollars.
And what's this guy up here? I kind of like him.
That's a stingray.
That's the stingray.
And I'm noticing there's a book up here. Have you been getting ideas from pictures as well?
Yep.
It's absolutely wonderful. So you did the wash, and then you did your pencil drawing, and now you're adding your color. So what are you painting here?
I don't really know what it is, but I found it in that book.
And it looks like it's going to be a great project.
And are you going to add more color down here? Because this is part of the what? Do you remember what this is called down here? It's part of the coral reef bed, right? Because you're going to have all your other creature, or your plant life forms growing up from there. Well, that's great, Dawn. Thank you.
Well, we've seen some of the watercolor creations, but there's some 3D monsters and creatures from the. Take us through this and maybe show us some of these creations, Alicia.
For sure. What we've done here is develop our drawings and then led into things that are dimensional. It's very easy for kids to only want to do drawing or painting, but bringing in the 3D element is kind of fun. And I left this open to them. They could do any kind of sea creature or sea monster that they like. And we're working with a slightly different technique in paper mache. And here's Casey with her wonderful creature here, and she's adding foam rubber forms to it. But I'm going to ask you, Casey, what creature did you make here? What's yours called?
This is a Hergling ghost pipefish.
Wow.
And
So
I chose it because it looked really unique.
I find the colors really interesting. But here's a case too where we're doing research. We're always checking out creatures and getting them to do planned drawings. And what's the technique that we used for creating this paper mache? Can you briefly describe it?
First we had to tear apart the paper from a big sheet, and then we used our hands and with the glue and put
But
it on.
before we did that part, how do we make the form here? You remember how we did that? What's different?
We used tinfoil instead of, like, some people use balloons if they're using rounded shapes.
And what's the advantage of using tinfoil like this?
Tinfoil can stick to itself, so you don't really have to use that much tape.
Why don't you hold it up so we can see slowly, and we'll angle it at different positions so that you can see how wonderful, and I believe this is almost life size, this fish. And it's got all these lovely patterns. I love what you've done at the top here. And what's the extra special paint we're going to put on this?
We're using glow-in-the-dark paint, so when it's in the light during the day, at night it can glow.
It's going to have an underwater, otherworldly kind of look to it. Well, we're here with Tahira, and I'd like to ask you, why did you sign up for this week, the Oceanology Week?
I just like fish in the ocean a lot.
Is that something you've decided you might want to go into when you're a little older?
Yeah.
And do you have any other drawings at home that you've done that you've tried out?
Yeah.
And how have you found? So you've got, again, we've got some seahorses, and take us through your creation here.
Well, it's kind of just like tropical stuff with like warm water fish and like the colorful coral and stuff.
And I love the wash. Did that ever turn out funky with this in the corner? Were you waiting to see when it dried how it would finish up?
Yeah, that was kind of a mistake.
I think this is just beautiful. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, welcome back to Your Arts. And Alicia, the children are busy inside with their ocean creations, but we had to come out here by the beautiful pond. The setting here is absolutely incredible. And talk about, again, this journey of this art camp and from start to finish, 19 years. Give us a bit of the history of this beautiful space.
Well, we moved out here about 21 years ago. And the deal was with my husband, if I was to move out to the country, he had to get me a studio. I had to have either something built or we had to do something. And sure enough, the building I have here is a restored apple cooler. And it's perfect because he put windows in for me and the space is big enough. And each year he's adding more on. So it's a wonderful environment to have the kids come in and do work. And also for myself, I work year round in there. So for me, it's a beautiful spot. But not only that, as I said, I love this green space. We have about 40 plus acres. And for me, this is like literally coming home. The idea of back to this place from being in a busy place, maybe in Toronto, is very soothing. for the soul.
Now you've got not only children from throughout Halton, you've had inquiries from around the world, and recently had an interesting phone call.
Yes,
Was
I
it
did
New York?
This morning, I just got a phone call right in the middle of a drawing lesson from New York and saying, "Is it too late to come?" And I said, "No, there's still space." But we've had kids come from as far away as Australia, California, BC, Louisiana, Calgary, England, China. So I think there's an appeal that people who know about this program are willing to organize their vacation time in this area and have their children participate. And I'm thrilled. I'm always thrilled when I get a call like that.
Well, we were thrilled to step into this. Is an absolutely spectacular creative oasis here. But tell us again, we're watching the children and their creative talents being, just developed. But tell us about your background and again your talents. And we haven't bragged about you a little bit, and where your experiences come from.
Well, I've been a professional artist for about 35 years, and this has led to a parallel career in working with children. I do a lot of work in schools in the Toronto area and the Greater Toronto region, and as a guest artist doing huge one-off projects, sometimes with the whole school. So the idea of transferring those skills into this area, Halton I felt didn't have as much going on for it the way Toronto did. And because I'm working in this area, I thought I'd like to bring my skills to this area. And from day one, when I opened the camp, it's been a wonderful success. I've had many students come, and some even have graduated OCA now. So it's very exciting to see that kind of development out of an idea that I had, and know that families have brought their children here and they want to expose them to an idea of working with a professional artist. Because I do work in painting, sculpture, glass, drawing, fabric, multimedia, and I've had the wonderful opportunity of being able to show in various places around the world. And currently, I've got several projects on the go that involve specific art pieces as well as doing some film work in art.
Oh, how exciting. Well, while we enjoy this tranquil setting here by the pond, and while the children are busy working, we're going to let you go for a couple minutes, and we'll be right back. Now, these art camp flyers, Alicia, everybody's seen them all throughout Halton. Again, they're so recognizable. But you've got 4 exciting weeks left to come up. You've got Down the Rabbit Hole, Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, Imagine That, and Picture This as themes in the next 4 weeks. How can people find out about these art camps if they wanted to take part and have their children go and learn about art?
Well, very easy to do. If you go on to www.artcamp.ca, the website has all the information about the course outline and the specifics, even registration forms. Or you can just give me a call and I'll be happy to talk to you. And there's still space in the camp, and I'd really love it for more kids to be able to participate in this very unique experience.
And there's some exciting news, because people who can't come to the camp, you can actually get an art lesson online. This is tell us about this exciting news for you.
I am very excited. Myself and the team I'm working with, we've been filming for about 1.5 years, and we're getting ready to launch an online art school. And we should be up and running by September, and that's going to be called newartlessons.com.
So from wherever you are around the world.
Yes, these are video art lessons. Now, something that's already up that you can certainly take advantage of is kids' arts and crafts lesson plans. And if you hyphenate each word, you'll be able to find 2 free lessons so far on there. And I'm still working on that, but available for any family or child who'd like to create a wonderful pop-up design and puppetry.
Oh, Alicia, thank you so much. Again, what a great feature for today's arts, this program, and letting us come and visit your special space here out in Campbellville. Maybe again for people, the phone number again if they want to find out more information about these camps.
All right, it's 905-854-0511. And I usually am able to pick up the phone during the day, or you could just leave me a message.
Well, thanks so much, Alicia, for letting us come and just a little glimpse into your art world here, and again, exposing the children to the arts. It's absolutely a fabulous space here. So if you want to find out more information, again, Alicia's giving you those numbers. What a great show we've had this week. I'm Kelly McIntyre for today's Arts.